Hi everybody, hope everyone is doing very, very well. Welcome back to the Dugout Football channel, where it is time for match week number 1. Yes, the Scottish Premiership is back this weekend, and obviously we are back with predictions for the first match week of the 2020-21 SPFL Premiership season. That is very, very difficult to say, obviously. So obviously with the new season starting, there's obviously a few things that are happening. Obviously we have 5 substitutes now that are going to be allowed to be used. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see that one as well. Obviously there is no winter break this season either. So be interesting to see if Rangers can definitely pose a challenge to Celtic this season. So we shall see what happens. So we have match week number 1, and we have a 12:30 game on Saturday. It is Aberdeen against Rangers. Probably the game of the weekend, I would say. Dundee United face St Johnstone in their return to the top flight. So a Tayside derby, nice wee way to enter back into the top flight. Hibs against Kilmarnock, St Mirren against Livingston. Those are the Saturday games. We've got a Sunday game. We've got champions Celtic against Hamilton, and then we've got Ross County against Motherwell on Monday. So the first game to preview and predict is Aberdeen against Rangers. The last 5 between the sides have resulted in 2 draws and 3 wins to Rangers. The last result was a 2-2 draw between these two. Aberdeen going into the season, obviously Sam Cosgrove is still at the club. Obviously there was continued rumours that he was going to go to France. Obviously there is a certain striker that has been linked with France, but I will come to that very, very shortly. Johnny Hayes has been added to Aberdeen as well. They've still got Joe Lewis, a very, very good goalkeeper as well. Aberdeen will definitely look to improve their home form last season. I think that's where it let them down last season. I think their home form was where they let them down. And actually, I think also that the away form was pretty good for Aberdeen. So, looking at this game, obviously Aberdeen against Rangers is the first game again for the second time in 3 seasons. So looking forward to this game. Rangers, obviously they're coming off they've had a pretty good pre-season, it has to be said. But big stories obviously about Alfredo Morelos potentially going to Lille. Apparently he has spoken and agreed personal terms with Lille, but apparently the bid or the transfer fee has not been agreed yet. Apparently Lille are a little bit lower to Rangers' valuation, so I think that's going to be interesting. Obviously, if Morelos goes, and obviously Jermaine Defoe will be the pivotal striker for sure. But he's a goal scorer. He is a goal scorer, but he is 35 now. But he has signed permanently for Rangers. Obviously, Yanis Hadji as well. He's going to have his first season in Scottish football as well. So first full season as well. So looking at it, I am going to go for a Rangers victory in this one. I think it's going to be a very, very tricky game to predict, but because obviously we don't know what everyone's sides are going to be like. But with a bit of a pre-season under their belt as well, it's going to be a very interesting game. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Rangers. I do think it'll be a tight game. I think Aberdeen will definitely get a goal because Rangers don't seem to defend really well at the moment. But I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Rangers in the game. And the return of Dundee United into the top flight as they face St Johnstone at Tannadice. The last 5 between the sides have resulted in 3 wins to St Johnstone, 1 draw and 1 win to Dundee United. The last result was a 2-1 win to St Johnstone. Now Dundee United, has to be said, they did very, very well last season. Obviously finished top of the championship, and it has to be said they were very, very good to watch. The only thing you can say though, Lawrence Shankland has been linked away with a few clubs as well. But that's the thing now with the transfer window now being open until October the 5th. There are going to be a lot of players that are going to be linked away. But Dundee United, obviously they've kept the bulk of their championship squad. Need to add a few more players, although they did add Luke Bolton from Manchester City on a season-long loan. So that's very, very good. Very, very good as well. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how well he does as well. But yeah, they've got a new manager now. Mickey Mellon has taken over because obviously Robbie Nielsen has gone back to Hearts. And yeah, good luck to Mickey Mellon. I think Tannadice is always a difficult place to go to in any season. So I think it's going to be a very very good season for Dundee United, and I think if they can keep their home form up, I think they'll be absolutely fine. St Johnstone, again, another side who have got a new manager. Callum Davidson has now stepped up to be a number one. Going to be interesting to see how well he does. Many people have predicted St Johnstone to actually go down this season. I don't know about that. I think St Johnstone have still got a very, very good squad. Stevie May, obviously Chris Kane as well. They've got a very, very good squad, and if they can keep the bulk of their squad, I think they'll be fine. So I can't really separate them on the first weekend of the season. I think it's going to be a very, very tricky season for both of these sides. But I do think that Dundee United and St Johnstone will play out a score draw here. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw between Dundee United and St Johnstone. Hibernian against Kilmarnock now. The last 5 between the sides have resulted in 2 wins to Killy, 2 draws and 1 win to Hibernian. The last result was a 2-2 draw between Hibs and Kilmarnock. Hibs have strengthened a little bit, obviously, with the signings of Alex Gogic from Hamilton, Kevin Nisbet from Dunfermline, and there is another one who has obviously stayed as well. Obviously, Canberry is back at Hibs, but for how long? That's one thing you can say. Christian Doige, they definitely need him to start scoring again because he had a fantastic season last season. Only Odsonne Edwards scored more goals than him last season, so that was very, very good, and Sam Cosgrove as well. So, obviously, looking at Hibs, they definitely need a better season because last season started really, really poorly under Paul Heckingbottom, but they've got Jack Ross now at the helm, and I think that will be okay for Hibs for sure. Kilmarnock, obviously, they are now managed by Alex Dyer permanently after obviously the disaster of Angelo Alessio last season. And it's going to be a very, very tricky season. I think looking at it though, Kilmarnock obviously they have had a few signings. Obviously, Danny Rogers has come into the club now as the number 1 goalkeeper. So because obviously Jamie McDonald has now gone, and obviously Branescu as well. He's obviously gone as well because obviously he was only on loan as well. So they definitely need to add a few more players for sure. But looking at this game, I can only really see a Hibs win. I think Hibs will start the season very, very well. It's going to be very interesting behind closed doors, though. So we're going to see some. I think we'll see some strange results to begin with. But I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Hibernian. I think Hibs will be too strong for Kilmarnock. St Mirren against Livingston. The last 5 between the sides have resulted in 2 wins to St Mirren, 2 wins to Livingston, and 1 draw. The last result was a 3-3 draw between St Mirren and Livingston. St Mirren, obviously, they have added Jack Elnick to their squad, and it's looking very, very good for them. St Mirren, obviously managed by Jim Goodwin last season, and obviously still in charge of this season. I have to say though, St Mirren had a good season last season. To stay up, which was very, very good. Obviously, with Goodwin taking over from Oran Kearney, of course. But St Mirren, they've managed to keep the bulk of their squad, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see if they can continue that. Because obviously with big players leaving, like obviously Danny Mullen has left, Haladki has left, Cody Cook has left as well. So big players out of the club as well. So that's going to be very, very interesting to see how well they will do. Livingston, obviously the surprise package of last season, obviously finishing 5th last season. A lot of rumours about Lyndon Dykes potentially going to Barnsley, I believe, as well. And obviously he's continually being linked with Rangers. I think Middlesbrough, Cardiff City were 2 other clubs that were interested in Dykes. But, Livingston have managed to add to their squad again. Obviously Robbie McCrory is back at the club. They've added Jack Fitzwater as well from West Bromwich Albion. They've obviously added Khalidi Ouissa. I think that's how you say it, from Queen's Park. So that's a very, very big sign. Let's see if he can adapt to the top flight. Kieran Brown is back at Livingston as well. So there's definitely competition for places at Livingston, and if they can continue like they did last season, I think a top 6 finish would not be too bad for Livingston this season. But their away form, they have to improve for sure. They definitely have to improve. So with that being said, I think Livingston can get a first away win since that Ross County win. I do think Livingston can win away from home. Gonna go for a 1-0 win to Livingston, but I think it'll be a very, very tight game, and we'll see what happens for sure. So that does Saturday's games over and done with. And we have Celtic against Hamilton now. The last 5 between the sides of around 5 wins to Celtic. 5 wins to Celtic, of course. Last result was a 2-1 win to Celtic. Celtic, now, obviously they are adding to their squad. Obviously, a goalkeeper is coming in. But if we believe Barkas, Greek goalkeeper, he seems to be coming in. I think they've added fLBxD as well from West Ham, so that's a good signing for Celtic. So they're adding to their squad for sure. They can keep Odsonne Edouard. I think they'll be fine. Elyounoussi's back on loan from Southampton. Very, very good player for them as well. And it's going to be very, very interesting because obviously their goalkeeper situation will be solved very, very soon. I do expect Scott Bain to start the season in goal though. I do think he will start the season in goal. Losing Fraser Forster is a big blow. Because we all know how well he did last season, but it's looking very, very interesting to see how well they can do Celtic. If they can continue like they did last season, I don't think there'll be any problems for Celtic. Hamilton, well, they managed to do it again. They managed to stay up by the skin of their teeth again. Yes, obviously the season was ended prematurely because of obviously what happened, but they've added to their squad as well, and it is going to be very, very interesting to see if they can stay up again for this season. But they just cannot seem to. They can't keep staying in 11th place and then just expect to stay up. They need to look ahead to maybe finishing 10th, maybe 9th as well. But looking at this game, I can only really see a Celtic win. And I think Celtic will probably score a lot. I think Celtic will win this one. I think they'll win it pretty comfortably as well. I'm actually going to go for a really hammering on the first day of the season. Celtic 5, Hamilton 0. I think it'll be a very, very comfortable victory for Celtic as well. Ross County against Motherwell. The last 5 between the sides have resulted in 1 win to Ross County, 1 draw and 3 wins to Motherwell. The last result was a 2-1 win to Motherwell. Now, Ross County are obviously managed by Stuart Kettlewell. Just Stuart Kettlewell now. It's not both of them. Stephen Ferguson has moved up to director of football at Ross County, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see because how well they do. They have added to their squad as well. Obviously, Conor Randall is in it right back as well. And obviously Carl Tremarco as well from Inverness. That's an interesting move for sure. But do you know what? Ross County, give them their dues. First season back. 10th place, I think they'll be happy with that. I think 10th place was their expectations as well. Going to be interesting to see how well they can do without fans though. So going to be really, really intriguing to see. Motherwell, they've added to their squad as well. Jordan White, Ricky Lammy, a couple of good players in there for Motherwell, and that obviously they are in Europe as well. So be interesting to see how well their season can, get back to obviously being in Europe and how they're going to divide that up and up. But I think if they go out of Europe very, very early on, then they can just focus on the league season. I think they're in for another good season. I think they're in for another top 6 finish. I think it's going to be a very, very good season for Motherwell as well. So looking at this game, I am going to go for a 2-1 win to Well. I think Motherwell will be too strong, and plus they have kept Stephen Robinson in charge of their manager for another season. So that is very, very good news for sure. So that is it. That is the SPFL Matchweek 1 done and dusted. I'll go through my predictions really, really quickly as well. Aberdeen 1, Rangers 2, Dundee United 1, St Johnstone 1, Hibs 2, Kilmarnock 0, St Mirren 0, Livingston 1, Celtic 5, Hamilton 0, and Ross County 1, Motherwell 2. So that is it. That is Matchweek 1 done and dusted. If you want to leave your predictions in the comment section, then please join in. It'd be very, very good to get a lot of people to obviously predict as well, and it'd be very, very good. Now, Just before I finish, if anyone is interested in Fantasy Football Scotland, obviously we all know what happened last season with the app. Obviously it stopped midway through, but they have got a better game now this time. It's obviously Fantasy Football Scotland. Obviously you'll get an App Store, you'll get in Google Play as well. So if anyone would like to join my mini league trip to the Spaghettihad, it had to be Livingston based, Livingston name related, then I will leave that in the description below. All you basically have to do is basically just type in the code and basically just enter, and you will be in there as well. And got a few people in there at the moment, so we can get a good following of Scottish football fans. That'd be absolutely fantastic. But thank you very much for watching. If you are new around here, then please hit that subscribe button as well. Smash the like on this video. And yes, the Premiership returns this week. Looking forward to it. And I'll leave, obviously, the Fantasy Football League in the description below. But enjoy your Premiership weekend. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.